Have you ever stopped to think that your childhood may have left clues that you were chosen for a greater spiritual purpose? No, it's not an exaggeration. Remember that feeling that you were different? Those dreams that felt too real, or the moments when you sensed an unexplainable protection? Believe me, none of that happened by chance. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 10 clear signs that prove you were marked for something extraordinary since childhood. And sign number 10. Oh, this one is the most powerful of all and could change your life forever. Have you ever felt out of place, as if you were in the world but not fully part of it? Since childhood, many of us carry something special, a restlessness, a sensitivity that isn't always understood. Perhaps you've noticed this in your life. While other children followed routines, you asked deeper questions, searched for answers in silence, and felt in an unexplainable way that you were here for something greater. This is not a coincidence. These are signs. Signs that show God has been shaping you from an early age for a divine purpose. In this video, I'm going to share the 10 unmistakable signs that appear in the childhood of those who have been chosen for a spiritual mission. Each sign is a piece of the puzzle that, when seen as a whole, reveals the great truth about your life's journey. If you've ever felt a connection with God, faced challenges, or had unexplainable dreams, you need to watch this video until the end. Because today you're going to understand what many spend their entire lives ignoring. And it doesn't matter where you are right now, whether you feel lost or confused. These 10 signs will show you that your life has a greater purpose and that you are not alone. Pay close attention, because by the end of this video, you will not only recognize these signs but also gain clarity on how to apply them to transform your journey and the lives of those around you. From a very early age, something about your childhood felt different. Maybe you sensed that you were being prepared for something special, even if you didn't know exactly what it was. While other children were focused only on the present moment, you carried an inexplicable feeling that life had something greater in store for you. This is the first sign. You were marked for a divine purpose. It doesn't matter if it seemed insignificant at the time, those feelings were like seeds being planted in your heart. You see, no one is born with all the answers, but there are moments in childhood that act as small alerts. Do you remember questioning why certain things happened? Or perhaps you felt an invisible presence guiding your steps. That wasn't just childhood imagination. It was a calling, a silent preparation for something only you could fulfill. Great missions often begin this way, subtle but powerful, just as it happened with Moses, who was chosen from birth to lead the people of Israel, even without knowing what awaited him. If this resonates with you, start looking at your story with fresh eyes. Every event, every doubt, and every feeling you experienced in childhood can serve as a reminder that you were never alone. This journey runs deeper than it seems, and it begins with something even more striking. That feeling of being different, which is the next sign on our list and could change the way you see your entire life up to this point. From an early age, you knew you weren't like the others. While most children blended in without a care, you felt something different, almost as if there were a sense of emptiness or non-belonging in the world around you. You would look up at the sky, question things no one else thought to question, and feel a sense of uniqueness, as though your soul were connected to something greater. That feeling of being different wasn't a mistake, it was a sign. Think for a moment. How many times were you called strange or too quiet? Perhaps you preferred to spend time alone, reflecting on life, or struggled to fit into the mold set by others. Many, like you, mistook this introspection for loneliness, but in truth, it was a form of spiritual preparation. In the silence, God was shaping within you a mind and heart that were stronger, more prepared to understand the special mission that would come later. In the Bible, David was also seen as different. While his brothers went off to war, he spent his time shepherding sheep and seeking answers in God. The world saw David as small and insignificant, but God saw a king within him. Perhaps, like David, you have carried this difference as a burden, when in reality, it is your greatest gift. And do you know what makes this uniqueness even more special? It's that along with it came an elevated awareness, the ability to see and feel what no one else noticed. That is the next sign, and one of the most powerful. As a child, you had a perception far beyond your years. While others were only concerned with playtime or their next snack, you noticed the little things, the expression of someone who wasn't doing well, a shift in the environment, or even the silence heavy with unspoken feelings. This is what we call elevated awareness, a clear sign of spiritual sensitivity. It wasn't an ordinary gift, it was proof that God was giving you eyes to see beyond the visible. Perhaps you remember moments when you sensed a friend's or family member's suffering, even when they tried to hide it. You possessed a rare ability, feeling what wasn't said. This heightened perception, far from being a weakness, is one of the most powerful tools a person can carry. It's as if God was fine-tuning your senses so that, in the future, you could comfort, guide, and transform the lives of others. In the Bible, we see examples like the prophet Samuel, who, as a child, could hear the voice of God while others ignored it. Elevated awareness is just that, being awake to what others overlook. Have you noticed how this perception brought you a deeper connection with people in the world? But here's the most important point. This ability has always gone hand in hand with another, even more transformative gift. The gift of empathy, which is the next sign and the ultimate proof that you were being prepared for something greater. From a young age, you carried a different kind of heart. While many ignored the pain of others, you felt it as if it were your own. This empathy and sensitivity were not just personality traits but a true spiritual gift, given to those with a divine purpose. It's as though God tuned your heart to hear what the world tries to ignore: silent tears, invisible suffering, and unspoken words. Do you remember that moment when you saw someone sad, and without even thinking, you went to offer comfort? Or that time when you knew exactly what a friend was feeling, even though they hadn't said a word? That is empathy in action. In the Bible, Jesus was the greatest example of this ability, stopping to listen, comfort, and heal those who were suffering. And here's the secret. Empathy is a universal language that connects souls and prepares those with a spiritual mission to serve the world in a unique way. If you identify with this, know that this gift is not a burden, it is a precious blessing. Use it to create change around you. Whether it's by listening to someone in need, helping without expecting anything in return, or simply offering a kind word, your empathy is a powerful tool for healing. But this gift doesn't come alone. Often, it is accompanied by another extraordinary sign: dreams and premonitions that, since childhood, have revealed something far beyond the ordinary. And that's exactly what we'll talk about next. Do you remember those dreams so vivid they felt real? Or the times when you just knew something was going to happen before it did? Those moments weren't products of your imagination but clear signs of a connection with God. Premonitions and dreams have always been a way for the divine to communicate with those who have a special purpose. And since childhood, you may have experienced this without realizing its significance. Think of Joseph in the Bible, who had dreams that changed the course of an entire nation. God used visions and messages to prepare him and show him what was to come. Perhaps you had a dream that, sometime later, became reality, or an intuition that helped you avoid a bigger problem. These signs are like gentle warnings, showing that there is a greater mission ahead and that you are being guided every step of the way. If this has happened to you, here's a powerful tip. Don't ignore your dreams. Keep a dream journal. As soon as you wake up, write down what you saw, felt, and understood. Often, what seems like an insignificant detail can be an important message from the Creator. And remember this: where there is spiritual sensitivity, there is also divine protection, because God never abandons those who have been chosen. And that is the next sign we are about to explore. Have you ever been in situations where everything seemed lost, but suddenly something inexplicable happened and you were saved? Perhaps you avoided an accident, a dangerous fall, or a decision that could have changed your life for the worse. That wasn't luck. That was divine protection. Since childhood, those with a spiritual purpose are watched over in a special way, as though invisible hands are guiding and protecting them. Remember, in the Bible, Daniel was thrown into the lion's den but emerged unharmed. Why? Because God protects those who are chosen. Maybe you have a similar story, an intuition that made you change your path, or a delay that, in the end, saved you from a major problem. God does not fail to protect those he has prepared for a mission, even when danger seems inevitable. That feeling that something or someone was watching over you is powerful confirmation that your purpose is too great to be cut short. If you recognize this protection in your life, cherish it. Thank God and understand that this safety is a reminder. You are not alone on this journey. Every deliverance is a sign that your mission is still unfolding. And this protection is also an invitation to draw even closer to the Creator. This connection with God is the next sign that shows you have been molded, since childhood, for something extraordinary. When you look back at your childhood, can you remember moments when you felt a deep loneliness or faced challenges that seemed bigger than you? It could have been a feeling of isolation, difficulties within your family, problems at school, or even situations that no one seemed to understand. But know this: those moments were not in vain. Challenges are a fundamental part of the preparation for those with a divine purpose. They shape your faith, your strength, and, above all, your spiritual resilience. Moses spent years in the desert before leading the people of Israel. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers before becoming a governor. God uses challenges and trials as tools to strengthen those he has chosen. Perhaps you've asked yourself, why me? Why is this happening? But now you begin to realize that every pain, every moment of loneliness was invisible training, preparing you for something much greater. If you are going through challenges today, pause and take a breath. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Face each difficulty as a step on your spiritual journey. And remember, God never abandons those He has chosen. These moments of trial only deepen your spiritual curiosity and your search for answers, something that has always been part of your essence and that we will explore in the next sign. Do you remember how, even as a child, stories of faith had a different effect on you? While other children enjoyed ordinary tales and adventures, you felt fascinated by narratives about courage, miracles, and the power of God. Each word seemed to ignite a flame within you, as if these stories were more than just accounts. They were messages directed at your heart, awakening a sense of divine purpose. The stories of David facing Goliath, Moses parting the sea, or Jesus healing the sick were not just ancient tales to you. They carried truths that resonated on a deeper level. Perhaps you even sought to learn more, asking someone to read the Bible to you or asking questions about these miracles. This fascination with stories of faith is a clear sign that your soul was in tune with something greater, seeking inspiration and answers from an early age. Today you can rekindle that connection. Dedicate time to readings that nourish your spirit, like the Psalms, the Gospels, or inspirational books that talk about purpose and faith. If these stories touched your soul in childhood, it's because they were preparing you for what was to come. This interest was never a coincidence, it was a seed planted to guide you toward seeking answers. And deep down, that search connected to something even more profound: your spiritual curiosity, which has always been a part of who you are. That is exactly what we are going to explore next. From a very early age, you carried a different kind of restlessness. While other children focused only on the present moment, you asked the deeper questions of life. Why are we here? What happens next? Is there something greater than all of this? This spiritual curiosity was not just a phase but a powerful sign that your soul was seeking something beyond the visible. It was the first proof that you were called to a divine purpose. People with this kind of restlessness don't settle for shallow answers. They seek more. They want to understand the mysteries of life, the nature of the spiritual world, and God's role in it all. Perhaps, as a child, you spent hours pondering things no one else talked about or felt a natural desire to learn about stories of faith and miracles. That was no coincidence. It was a spiritual longing planted in you, a silent calling to pursue deeper growth. If this curiosity still lives within you, nurture it. Start reading inspiring books about faith, purpose, and spiritual development. Seek answers in the Bible and carve out moments in your day for prayer and meditation. Don't ignore this search, because it is the path to discovering your true purpose. Spiritual curiosity is a rare sign, given only to those who are chosen for something greater. And now that you've learned all of these signs, it's time to recognize the bigger picture. You have been prepared since childhood for an extraordinary mission. You've already seen it. All those signs from your childhood were not mere coincidences. They were a calling. A reminder that you were chosen for a greater purpose. Every experience you've lived, feeling different, carrying the ability to feel others' pain, experiencing inexplicable dreams, or sensing divine protection during critical moments, all of it shaped a path, a form of training for you to become who you were meant to be. God does not choose ordinary people for extraordinary missions. He shapes, strengthens, and prepares those He calls, even when the process is silent and lonely. You may have carried doubts, pain, and even questions, but now, looking back, everything begins to make sense. Every detail, every challenge was a piece of the puzzle that reveals your divine purpose. And here is the most powerful truth: you are the answer to something greater in this world. Your life has an impact, a mission that only you can fulfill. What you do from this moment forward is what truly matters. All the stories we hear in the Bible, of people who were chosen and transformed lives, began with signs, exactly like the ones you've experienced. Today you have the knowledge and understanding that these signs are real. And now it is time to answer the call. Because when you accept your purpose, you don't just transform your life, you also transform the lives of those around you. Now that you've learned about the 10 signs that marked your childhood, it's clear that nothing you experienced happened by chance. Every feeling of uniqueness, every dream, every moment of divine protection were messages. Small, subtle, but powerful messages, showing that you were chosen for something far greater than you ever imagined. Maybe you ignored these signs for years, but today you have a choice. Accept the call and take the next step on your spiritual journey. Think for a moment. How many times did you feel alone, only to realize now that God was there all along? Those challenges, those intuitions, and even your spiritual curiosity were the Creator shaping you for a mission that only you can fulfill. It's not just about recognizing the signs but acting on them. Ask yourself, what can I do today to honor the purpose God has entrusted to me? Small actions can transform everything. A moment of prayer, a kind word, or simply helping someone in need. Now I want to know, which of these signs have you recognized in your life? Share in the comments what stood out most from your childhood. Your story might inspire others who are also searching for their purpose. And if you want to keep learning about spirituality, purpose, and spiritual growth, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Because when you share light, the whole world shines brighter.